As rising crime pushes Little Rock into a state of emergency, it's all hands on deck now to make the city safer. Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Sarah Horbacewicz. Now, from city officials to law enforcement and even faith leaders, it seems everyone is coming together to address the violence in our community. Tonight, THV 11's Jade Jackson shows us how pastors are using their faith to make a difference.
What would you say to people who say that just praying isn't going to do anything?
As Christians, we have to do more than just pray.
Reverend Glenn Shagwat with the Little Rock Pastors Conference, along with Reverend Benny Johnson with Arkansas Stop the Violence, brought together faith leaders Sunday afternoon for a collective day of prayer and also discussion.
When it comes to issues such as violence, we can't just pray about it. We have to put some plans together.
The most recent homicide being on South Harrison, where one person was killed. It's the 7th homicide for the year, the first since the city declared violent crime a public health emergency.
We ask that your hand touches the 64 lives that were lost in 21, the 55 lives that were lost in 2020, the 43 lives that were lost in 2019, and the 42 lives that were lost in 2018.
Mayor Frank Scott says curbing violence isn't going to be a quick fix, but the best first step is bringing the community together.
And any life that has been lost in 2022.
All those in attendance say proactive policies along with prayer is a start.
You're doing a good job memorizing it and talking about it and preaching about it and teaching about it and having Sunday school about it. It's not enough to talk about evangelism and teach about discipleship. We have to actually do it.
Pastor Minnick.
All right, we are having some technical difficulties there, but we will have the full story on our website, and we'll continue to inform you about the ongoing crime as we learn of new events. All right, now outside today, it was a pretty nice day. We had some nice weather, and I saw your forecast last night. It should cooperate with us for the rest of the week, right?
Oh yeah, we are going to be in for a nice stretch of some weather. You know how things were just a few days ago. A lot of melting has been occurring actually the last couple of days. So it was kind of nice to see, 50s for our weekend. We actually were 50 degrees for yesterday, and today was no exception. Here's a look at what we saw for highs today. Around 52 for us here in Little Rock. It really ranged anywhere from low 40s to upper 50s, especially warmer further south. Right now we're sitting at 33, so we're already near that freezing mark for tonight and seeing some clear skies. Wouldn't be surprised to see a little bit of some slick spots as we go into the overnight hours. Still not completely melted with what we have left over. Fortunately, it's going to be quiet tonight besides just a few clouds rolling on through. Starting off a morning pretty cold. Here's a look at that bus stop forecast. Essentially, we are going to be seeing another day near 50 degrees, more of this glorious sunshine. I'll let you know if we do have any changes to this consistent weather and what else is in store for our upcoming week in the forecast just ahead.
And while we are seeing sunshine now, the recent winter weather forced polls to close for a special election in Conway last week. But with warmer weather on the way, early voting now continues tomorrow on future recreation centers for the city. Voters can fill out their ballots at the Faulkner County Courthouse. If you can't make it tomorrow, though, Conway voters, you can still head to the polls on Election Day. That's on Tuesday from 7:30 a.m. through 7:30 p.m. People who live in the city can vote on Election Day at the Conway Sports Center or the McGee Center. Residents will also decide there on that proposed community center and a separate soccer complex. In total, the new projects would cost about $32 million, but taxes would not increase. Meanwhile, early voting also continues in Garland County tomorrow for another special election. Voters there will decide on the reauthorization of the sales tax that's now securing $54.7 million towards road projects there. Residents first authorized this tax back in October of 2011. Garland County voters can have their say at the Election Commission building in Hot Springs or the Community Baptist Church. Tomorrow is the last day for early voting from 8 a.m. through 5 p.m. And residents can also vote on Election Day there as well this Tuesday. In state politics tonight, Governor Asa Hutchinson now responding to Republican National Committee's recent censure of certain officials. The panel voted unanimously to continue a resolution censuring Republican Representatives Liz Cheney of Wyoming and Adam Kinzinger from Illinois. Hutchinson says, quote, "The censure resolution by the RNC is wrong. It undermines respect for our rule of law and divides our party unnecessarily," and quote, although the resolution passed unanimously, Hutchinson went on to say that he's, quote, "grateful for those courageous dissenters in the RNC vote." This comes as Cheney and Kinzinger received criticism from the party as they're the only Republicans on the House committee investigating the January 6th attack on Capitol Hill. Governor Hutchinson also shared the latest COVID-19 data today, reporting nearly 1,000 new cases of the virus. And it's a high number, but cases are still trending down. Arkansas hospitalizations declined as well, as 19 less people are fighting the virus from a hospital bed tonight. But sadly, we do continue to see severe cases of COVID-19 develop, as 38 more Arkansans died from complications. In national headlines, the U.S. says Russia could attack Ukraine any day now, but the Kremlin continues to insist it has no plans of doing so, despite amassing roughly 110,000 troops along Ukraine's border. Tom Hansen reports from New York.
The White House says a Russian invasion of Ukraine may be imminent.
We believe that there is a very distinct possibility that Vladimir Putin will order an attack on Ukraine. It could take a number of different forms. It could happen as soon as tomorrow, or it could take some weeks yet.
Over 110,000 Russian troops have taken up positions along the Ukraine border. Sources tell CBS News that's about 70% of what the Kremlin would need to launch an offensive.
This is the single greatest threat Europe has faced since the 1940s.
The U.S. has responded to the escalation by shipping weapons to Ukraine and deploying thousands of troops to Eastern Europe. The Biden administration hopes the threat of severe economic penalties will be enough to deter an invasion.
We have designed a set of economic sanctions that would take on the Russian financial system, limit President Putin's ability to project power into the future by cutting them off from key technologies and cutting off key elites from the Russian economy.
The Kremlin denies that an attack is in the works. On Twitter Sunday, a senior Russian diplomat dismissed the idea as a masterpiece of U.S. propaganda. On Saturday, thousands took part in a patriotic march in Kharkiv, Ukraine's second largest city. Other Ukrainians spent their weekend training to defend their homeland. Tom Hansen, CBS News, New York.
And U.S. intelligence officials say they believe Russian President Vladimir Putin has yet to decide whether to invade Ukraine, and they believe the decision is largely his to make. Now, as the weather gets warmer locally, a lot more people are out and about. And if you've been to the gas pump lately, you may have noticed an increase in price. The national average for a regular gallon of gas hit $3.43 on Friday. That's a record high. Here in the natural state, the current average is slightly above $3. Leftover winter weather allowed for a lot of people to get out and fuel up for the week. But for some drivers at the pumps today, they say the price increase is concerning.
There's a huge amount of people that really and truly, it affects so many people, and it's very, it's a little bit unnerving.
And something else you might not want to hear, and I don't really want to say, but the price is expected to go up. Experts believe the national average could reach $4 per gallon come this spring.